Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about a question I had where an individual asked, "But I am such a hard worker, but I never have any success." And see, this is one of those things that people seem to confuse. And they hear things like work smarter, not harder, and all these things, but overwhelmingly, people have instilled in them a work ethic that you should work hard, which is good. But what they don't have is an idea of efficiency and of being effective. And many times people define themselves as hard workers, and compared to ultra productive people, they're really quite lazy. And so many have bought into this 40-hour work week, 5 days a week, and they do that, and they may give their all during that time, but they think they've done everything they need to do and that they're hard workers because they worked 40 hours a week. And we have so many advantages today where you don't have to go and spend any time getting your water. You just turn your faucet on and there's water. Or you go to your refrigerator and you get a bottle of water. It's that simple. And so many things that we do today are so easy. We have so much extra time, and yet people work less than ever and they get worse results than ever. Now, sure, if you hear these studies that talk about, oh, productivity's increased and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, in individuals' lives, they are not productive in getting the results they want. That's why so many people are miserable. They've resigned themselves to the mediocrity of a family vacation once a year, saving for retirement, all this nonsense that will get them nowhere in life. And normally during that time of living the same day in and day out, they're getting fatter, they're getting unhealthier, besides just aging, and they're not improving any. So by the time they might actually smarten up and wise up to the sad slavery they've been put into, it's too late. They've had so many years of indoctrination and rewriting that bad programming into their mindset that it's almost impossible for them to turn around and renew their mind. Mainly because they refuse to in the first place. They'll never even have ears to hear what the Spirit says. So they just ignore and they go on through life. They go back to mediocrity. And they'll talk about being hard workers. And being a hard worker is good if you're working hard in something that is productive and beneficial, profitable, and is what you should actually be doing. I've given this example numerous times, but if you're going to dig a pond, yes, you can go out there with a shovel and dig it by hand and spend days, maybe weeks, depending on the size of the pond you're going to dig. And yet, you could go rent a backhoe and in an hour have the same hole that would have taken you days or maybe even weeks to dig. Working harder has no benefit in that context. And that's what so many people are doing. Day in and day out doing the same thing, hoping, praying, pleading with God for different results, and yet they won't do different things in order to get those different results. So they'll talk about being a hard worker, and maybe they really are, but they're working hard at the same things that have gotten them the results they already have. And work hard all you want, if you're still getting the same results and you're not making any changes, what do you expect will be the end result of doing the same thing again? This is why I have a coaching program for people in order to bless them and help them move on to productivity. You know, I talk to people so often and they don't realize that they are making the decisions for the life that they experience. Too often people want to say that they're victims or they blame God for their results, which is just blasphemous in the highest degree. Because if God's responsible for your results, why do some people have good results and some people have bad results? Why do you have bad results? If you do, is that God's fault? You're not at fault here? See, this is the thing. God is always giving wisdom and blessing, and just the very fact that you have the breath of life and you have existence that you can do and make and be, and yet you choose to rely on blaming God. You're not depending on Him. You're not having your faith in Him when you're doing that. God's not responsible for your life. If your life is in shambles, if your life is not good, it is 100% not God's fault. He is the remedy for it. So you can work hard, get the same results, and then blame God. Or try to be super spiritual and blame the devil. Oh, the devil's attacking me. Why would he attack you? You're not doing anything different. Why all of a sudden is he attacking you? Out of all people, you're so special and he's attacking you when you've done nothing different. You haven't made any impact in the world at all. That's just the height of arrogance, and it's superstition, because the devil probably doesn't know that you exist. And that's something people don't want to admit. They want to have somebody to blame everything on. The devil made me do it, or there's a boogeyman under the rock. That's why my life isn't going well. It must be the devil attacking me. Yeah, that's what it is. Instead of the fact that day in and day out, I'm doing the same things and expecting different results. And I'm blaming God, I'm blaming the devil, I'm blaming my neighbor, I'm blaming my friends, I'm blaming my family, blaming my wife, blaming my kids, blaming whoever, when the reality is, and this is the key that you must realize, you and only you are responsible for the life you have. The experiences you're going through, you are responsible for them ultimately. You're not a victim. God's not to blame. He's not withholding blessings from you. They're freely available. You're just not receiving them. The devil's not attacking you, and maybe in some cases he's attacking some people, but most people, they're their own devils as far as the enemies in their life, the adversary of their lives. They are the worst adversary they could possibly have, because they've set in a program of having a life they don't enjoy, they don't want, and yet they continue to do the same things and make no changes. So they're guaranteeing and ensuring themselves 100% to have the same life they already have, or worse, because things deteriorate over time if you're not progressing and moving forward. That's why in business so often, if your sales, your profits kind of hit a lull and they're just at a standstill, that's awful. That's not a good thing. Oh, we're still doing the same we did last month. No, it should always be going up, because eventually that standstill, if you don't make some corrections, it's going down. Because if there's no growth, death is coming in. And that's not what you want. You don't want all your hard work and effort going toward the life that you have right now that you don't want. You should work hard, and it's good, and work is ennobling. But you need to make sure that you're working in endeavors that are profitable, beneficial, and they're actually going to lead you to the results that you want. If you don't have any success and you're working hard, then the very simple thing you need to do is make sure that what you're working on is something that could possibly lead to your success. There are too many people in dead-end jobs or dead-end businesses that there's no potential for growth, at least in the current state. And they're just hoping that some magic fairy dust is going to float down upon them and make it all work out in their favor. And God wants to grant you great favor, massive abundance, and all these things shall be added unto you. But you're going to have to do things His way. And that's not as hard as you may think it is. Because quite simply, it's listening, hearing the voice of the Spirit, having ears to hear what the Spirit says, and then following through with your massive hardworking action that you're taking. Because you got the hard work part down. That's good. Now get the part where you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it is actions that are going to take you to the result that you want. Not doing the things that you're doing right now that aren't getting you to success. Because as you said, you're a hard worker, but I never have any success. If that's the case, then the hard work you're doing, as good as it may be, is not going to ever get you to success. You plainly said it already. You never have any success. So how can you have any success if you continue doing the same stuff you're doing? So I want to encourage you today to snap out of that. Make changes. Now, neurologically in your brain, you can do some simple things to start changing things up. So if you go drive one way to work, drive a different way, completely different way. If you park in one set of parking spots every single day, park somewhere completely differently. Or If you're close enough, walk to work or ride a bicycle. Do stuff, start doing some different things within your day. Now you may say, well, how is that going to help me get to my end goals? Because as you start tweaking and forcing your brain to change, and then your mind using your brain, and you're making adaptations, and you're changing, and you're growing, and you're making new neural synapses, you will start to have new ideas. Creativity will bubble up out of you. And then you can start taking some of those ideas that are going to be good for what you want to do and where you want to go, and use them to your advantage to become a great success. But if you're stuck in the same rut, your brain's essentially turned off and you're basically living like a robot. So start making, that's something simple you could do, because that will start snapping things and making new connections. And then all of a sudden you're starting to, wait, what about this? Oh, I didn't even see that. There's a new company right there doing the same industry I'm in. Maybe I can apply there. And new worlds of opportunities will open to you. And as you listen and heed the voice of the Spirit, that still small voice, as He speaks to you, you take action and you will see great results and, in the end, great success. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.